NBA Executive VP of Basketball Operations Rod Thorne released a statement about Dwight Howard's flagrant foul won in Game 4, saying, quote, Howard was trying to extricate himself from Bogut and recklessly hit him in the face with an open hand. The contact was unnecessary, but was not deemed excessive by the officials working the game with the aid of the replay center, and we don't see a reason to modify that call, end quote. So Dwight Howard avoids a suspension for Game 5, and with him on the floor, the Rockets are obviously way better defensively. The net rating is way better. The rebounds are up. The defensive rating is quite a bit better. And look at the points in the paint with Big Dwight on the court. Obviously a huge difference. So, Smitty and Isaiah, do you agree with the ruling that should remain a flagrant 1 and not be upgraded to a flagrant 2?
Yeah, I do. And the reason why is I think because it looks like Dwight was getting away from Andrew Bogut. If Bogut hadn't have been holding him and he just flung it, then I think it might have been upgraded.
And I think when you have big guys playing in the paint like this, I do think the league take into account that, bigger people grab and hold, and that's kind of the physicality inside the paint.
So James Harden had a magnificent stay alive Game 4, dropping a playoff career high 45, which also is the most points scored in a game in these playoffs. How did he turn it around after a 17-point performance in Game 3? 17
points is still good numbers, but James Harden, you look at it, I think he just had one of those days where he was off. He has that. You can have those type of games. But when he is on his game, there's not much you can do because the reason why he's not afraid of contact and he can knock down a jump shot and create space. But when he's getting to that free throw line, anytime I see 14, 15 free throws, that doesn't mean it's equate to big numbers. It means gaudy numbers because he gets a rhythm. I think he gets a rhythm off of contact, Isaiah, and getting to that free throw line.
And the scary thing about Harden getting that rhythm and getting this hot is that we know when he gets this hot, he stays hot for about a week or two. So, in the next game, Golden State's got to come out early and try to put that fire out because I still think he'll be hot and on fire.
So the Rockets lost the first 2 games in Oakland by a total of 5 points before getting stomped at home in Game 3. So over the first 3 games, the Rockets averaged just 94.7 points per game, making less than 29% of their 3-point attempts. But in Game 4, the Rockets exploded for 128, making 7 of 32 from downtown. And Lewis Johnson's been on the road. He's got more on the Western Conference Finals.
Houston began Game 4 with a monster first quarter, scoring 45 points, and the fans finally had what they came to see. But midway through the second quarter, this building fell silent when league MVP Steph Curry flipped over Trevor Ariza, landing on his back, hitting his head, and a scary moment that looked like it could be a series changer.
I felt like I was in the air for a long time and trying to brace yourself. And, once I hit the ground, kind of hear voices from trainers and people just kind of just tell me to take my time and not rush yourself getting up.
First of all, we were just concerned for safety, and then and then from there we didn't really know what to expect.
Anyone who takes a headshot like that can't feel good, but he's one of the toughest players on the team, and he'll come out and play with a ton of fire on Wednesday.
Fortunately, he was up, came back into the locker room with the doctors. We played out the half, checked on him at halftime, and he was going through a series of tests, and that's why he didn't start the second half. We wanted to make sure he was okay.
I feel pretty good, just not how I envisioned the game going, and disappointed we lost, but all in all, thankful that I came out of that relatively okay. And
neither Houston nor Golden State practiced on Tuesday. Both teams flying back to the West Coast. Steph Curry with his team. Everyone electing to get some rest in preparation for Game 5 on Wednesday at the Oracle.
Thank you very much. So Curry survived that scary headfirst fall to the floor, finishing with 23 points, made 6 threes, giving him now 6 consecutive games with at least 5 triples. Guys, were you surprised that he came back? And what does it say about our MVP that he did come back?
It just scared me. Anytime you have an injury to the head, and obviously you're worried about his elbow, you're worried about his wrist, his shoulder, his neck, and his head, Isaiah. It just concerned me. I didn't think he would come back, especially with them being down. Nothing against Steph Curry. I just thought, as far as his safety, that he wasn't going to play in the second half, and they would take precautionary just to make sure he's all right. But obviously, you know, you don't question his toughness. Obviously, he's a tough kid, but I just was worried about him long term.
Yeah, I agree with you. Knowing what we know about concussions now, you definitely was thinking about that. However, it says a lot about Steph Curry in terms of his courage, his commitment, and just how tough a player he is to be able to take a fall like that, knowing that your team is down close to 15 to 20 points, game is out of hand, and you still come back and want to compete and play, says a lot about him.
The guy's ridiculous, man. So Klay Thompson had his best game of the series by far, 24 points, 6 of 13 from downtown. Smitty, this was after making just 4 of 22 from 3 through the first 3 games. What happened with Klay in Game 4?
Well, I think Klay looked and said, hey, Steph is out. I have to step up. And obviously he did. He had a span where he was knocking down shot after shot, got them kind of back in this basketball game before halftime. But I'm taking my hat off to him. His numbers haven't been gaudy. But in that Memphis series, he had to guard Mike Conley. And then this series, he's guarding James Harden. That one-on-one is difficult because he's giving you everything. Then off pick and rolls. Then you have to challenge him at the rim. So I think Klay Thompson, I think would love to see Golden State take a little pressure off him, have some other guys guard James Harden just to free him up, free his legs up to play a little bit more offense.
And Isaiah, if Curry's still a little shaken after that fall, can Klay be the guy to take him through in Game 5?
37 and a quarter. Yeah, he can get that hot. And he can get that hot at home, and he'll have the home crowd behind him. So, yes, he's capable, and he can.
All right, so Game 5 of the Western Finals coming up Wednesday night on the ABC ESPN family of networks.